So you're thinking of moving to Sarasota, but you keep hearing the term the Suncoast. And here's the confusion that most people don't actually know what that means or how far it really stretches. The Florida Suncoast isn't just Sarasota. It's a string of Gulf Coast cities running from Parrish down through Bradenton, Sarasota, Venice, and Northport. And each one offers a very different lifestyle and price point. And here's the part where most buyers get it wrong. They fall in love with the name Sarasota without realizing there might be another Suncoast city that fits better, costs less, and maybe makes them happier in the long term. So in this video, I'll show you geographically, right on a map, exactly where these towns are and how to choose the right part of the Suncoast before you make an expensive mistake. Now, before we dive into the map, here's something I want you to keep in mind. When people say they want to move to the Suncoast, what they're really saying is they want a certain lifestyle. But most don't realize how dramatically that lifestyle changes as you move 10 or 20 miles north or south. Some areas prioritize new construction and value. Others focus on established neighborhoods and lots of charm. Some are better for families and for commuting, while others are ideal for retirees, second home buyers, or waterfront living. And the pricing, well, that shifts just as fast. So instead of talking about the Suncoast in general terms, the smartest way to understand it is to walk it, city by city, north to south.
So we're going to take you on a map journey, and we're going to go from north to south, basically right up and down this coast. This is what we call the Suncoast. So from the tip down under Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, some people include it in the Suncoast. For all our purposes here, we're just going to cover from the Parrish area on down to the Englewood area. But this is what I call the Suncoast, and most people here. This is what's covered by our local TV and radio. This is the Suncoast, these cities. So we're going to start here in Parrish, and Parrish is a really up-and-coming area. A lot of new construction. If you've been following us, we've got tons of videos on the Parrish area, and especially all the new construction. So you're going to find homes anywhere between the 400s to the 700s. You'll even find some luxury homes up into the 900s. But one thing you'll find up in Parrish, and even especially when they're larger luxury homes, there might be $100,000 difference between the same builder, something comparable in Sarasota. So you can get a lot more house for the money up in here. So we're going to follow this down from I-75. This is going to be our main north-south road. And right off of here, this is Moccasin Wallow. So this is being expanded to 4 lanes. And there is just a ton of new construction going on there. We can zoom in. We've done some on Sea Air, Oakfield Trails, Oakfield Lakes, North River Ranch, all these communities that are up and down here. And this is the Parrish area. And Parrish kind of blends right into Ellington. You come down Erie, come down 301 right into Ellington. So let's keep the I-75 corridor in mind, north-south roads, and that's how we're going to work today. We go further south. If you come from Parrish down Fort Hammer, you're going to be ended up in Lakewood Ranch. We've got a lot of videos on that as well. But we're going to stick here to the bay. And here's Palmetto right up along the Manatee River. So Palmetto, you got some nice houses right up and down throughout here. Downtown Palmetto, kind of sleepy, older area. A lot of tomato canneries, places like that. That's kind of what came up around Palmetto. So it's older, not specifically that great an area, except for around the waterfronts here. And then this area, you had some older along Bradenton, along the river here, you had some older mobile home parks, but through here you've got a lot of new construction, and this is really developed along with Parrish. So this area is really filling in because that's where the land is. And as we go down further, here's Bradenton, right across from Palmetto, along the Manatee River. We've done a lot of videos here about Bradenton. We've got some interesting feedback, especially about one video I did called The Hole in Bradenton, talking about the downtown Bradenton area. This area downtown is kind of run down in comparison to west or east. So if you head east, you're going to be into Lakewood Ranch, which is going to go basically from Rye Preserve all the way down into the Sarasota area. So that's a nice brand new area. Everything here east of 75 in Lakewood Ranch. It's one of the biggest master plan communities in the entire country. Very successful. Everything looks like Disney World. Everything's very manicured, and you've got a lot of parks and green space and lots of lakes. So that's a great place to live. People have heard about it. We've got a whole amount of videos on that, and even down in the Lakewood Ranch, we've got one on water side, which is the Sarasota side of Lakewood Ranch, which is just really some great areas. A little bit more higher priced, but I think everybody loves that, just depending on what your preferences are. Like I said, Palmetto, you can get stuff here, smaller, older houses for the 300s, and just wherever you go, and the newer it is, it's going to be a little bit more expensive in most cases. So as we head out, Bradenton's going to be this little piece right in here between State Road 64 and the 684, which is going to be Cortez Road. So it's kind of a peninsula that sits out into the water between the Manatee River and the Sarasota Bay. So locally, Cortez Road and State Road 64, we call it Manatee Avenue, and that's going to head out to the beaches. So you've got Anna Maria, Bradenton Beach, Longboat Key, Coquina Beach. These are really nice beaches, and unlike Sarasota, they don't have high rises. You've got a lot of nice little homes there. Some of the locals live there, and you've got a lot of tourists, some really great beaches. Let's hone in a little bit and zoom in, I should say. And then here's Bradenton, kind of. This is the bulk of it. IMG Academy, that is one of the top, actually, academies for sports in the entire country for kids, anywhere from like 10 on up, high school sports, everything. A lot of major athletes come down here to train. So throughout here, you're going to have the general population where Bradenton, you can find houses, like I said, older homes and stuff from the 300s, 400s. And this is the general area that's already built up. Downtown Bradenton, they've revitalized it a bit, but you got some rougher areas over here, some older areas. State Road 70 also runs out to here, connects with 75 to the beaches. That is also a great way to get out to Lakewood Ranch. But from here on, you got a lot of nice homes up and down, of course, because you've got waterfront. And then you've got Seaflower right here, a new community. They're building amazing brand new community. Quite neat. We have a video on that one. So pretty much anything I mentioned here, we have a video on, so you can go back into the files and take a look at. But Longboat Key, this is one of the wealthier islands here. Longboat Key, in the Manatee side, and then Longboat Key here in the southern side of Sarasota. So as we head on down here, you're going to see the Sarasota Airport right by the water here. And here, as you go out University Parkway, that is the dividing line between Manatee County and Sarasota County. Although you will find along this area, you're going to find some Sarasota addresses. And the reason why they're Sarasota addresses, because at one time these folks wanted the prestige of the Sarasota address, so they got the mail, and they got the U.S. Post Office to give them Sarasota addresses, even though they're in Manatee County. So beware of that. You may not necessarily be in Sarasota, technically. So you got the mall at University Town Center and all this. This is an incredible shopping mecca right here, and there's a lot of pretty much anything you could think of, restaurant, and one of the great places that we do videos on because they really light it up on the holidays. Great Christmas area. So as we're kind of crossing this University Parkway divide, we go from Bradenton into North Sarasota. You've got the Meadows, which is an older community, still well kept. You've got so many, I have to admit, so many different townhomes, condos, everything. There's so many different little tiny subdivisions through here and single family, but kind of a nice older neighborhood. So as we follow this, here is downtown Sarasota. So in this area, you're going to find high rises and a great downtown. It's really become a special place. And along here, Longboat, you can see one of the higher end zip codes in the whole area. And Lido Shores, you're going to have everything from $1 million houses to $5 million, $10 million houses, right into St. Armand's, which St. Armand's is one of the nicest and more upscale. Let's see if we had any pictures of it there. But it's one of the more upscale neighborhoods, or I should say shopping districts, in the entire area. So you can see all of this big giant circle heading out. And there's a lot of different A lot of different waterways cutting through here. This is Bird Key. Also find $1 million homes with incredible views of downtown. Really beautiful, lit up at night. So Lido Key, all this, Lido Beach, the closest beach right from downtown Sarasota. And then all along this coast, you're going to find some really nice older neighborhoods. It's already built up. What you're finding here, if it's an older neighborhood, or if it's an older home, I should say, a builder's gonna tear it down and put a $1 million new home on it. And we're finding that east of US 41 too. So 41, we basically call it the trail. So anything west of the trail is going to be quite expensive because just of the land value itself. And that's happening here around the east of the trail. So here are our exits. Once again, we're saying, keep this in mind. I-75 is going to be the major corridor down north-south. So we've got a lot of different exits. In Sarasota, the heart of it's going to run from Fruitville down to Clark Road. State Road 72 is locally called Clark Road. So these are areas that you can get out to the beaches, and you've got Siesta Key and Siesta Key Beach, world famous Siesta Key Beach. So in this little area right here, this is going to be Sarasota in general. That's going to be your general population. You got Sarasota Springs, Colonial Gables, areas like that where you can still find an older $300,000 house from the 60s and 70s in these areas. This is all built out. So to get new construction, it's either going to have to be a tear down or out this way. So there's a lot of newer construction out east here for bigger homes. But this is all part of Sarasota. Anything west of 75 here, you can get to the beaches pretty quickly. And as we head down and out east, we're going to get to 72 out here. Let me see if I can zoom out here, show you a little bit. So this is really being developed right now. There's a lot of land that's going to be developed over the next 10 years, some newer subdivisions and some really nice stuff. We've got Sky Ranch right out here. It's not showing up on a map. So these different things on the map, these aren't necessarily towns. They're just divisions or subdivisions or smaller areas like Palmer Ranch. Palmer Ranch is very, very well received. People love living in Palmer Ranch because you're so close to the beaches. You're right here. You've got a lot of upscale neighborhoods and some really nice neighborhoods that have been around for the past 30 years. But that's a liked area. Palmer Ranch in through here, and then right over here you've got Gulf Gate. The Gulf Gate area is right across from the beaches, so it's an older neighborhood. Basically, people fix up their old homes from the 50s and 60s, and they still get really great value. So as we head on down the Vamo area, that's really just a place on the map. But the Osprey, it's a tiny little part of Sarasota. Oscar Shear State Park. This area is being developed as 681 coming right off of I-75. And on the east side of this area, this is Nokomis, where we've got a lot of new construction. And over here, you've got Laurel, which is, like I said, these Laurel and Osprey. These are like just little places along the road here, US 41. They're really not their own towns, but they have separate names. Nokomis is we have a whole video on that. And Nokomis from Laurel Road in, this is really being developed. There's a lot of new commercial that's coming this way, and it's really a great area. We've done a lot of videos on that as well. So before you know it, you cross over and you're into Venice, and there's Venice Beach. One of the only beaches that's not, or downtowns that's not, there's not a barrier island. You literally go from downtown, you can walk right to the Venice Beach area. It's a smaller town. It's a really neat town. One of my favorites there. Well worth taking a look at. People seem to fall in love with the Venice and the small downtown, quaint downtown. There's a little Venice airport there. So we're here into South Venice. This area, you've got a lot of townhomes, condos, villages, stuff like that. And here's South Venice. Up and down, you've got some barrier islands and Minnesota Beach, some really cool places. In this area, we've got Welland Park. So that is the new fancy up and coming neighborhood. This whole area is being developed here. We're doing a lot of videos. Look at those. We've already done probably a half dozen neighborhoods or more there in Welland Park. But that is the complement here in South County to Lakewood Ranch. So pricing, from the 300s for townhomes and things like that, all the way up into the 800s. And you've got some luxury subdivisions here over 1.5 million, 2 million, just depends. But you've got something for everyone, and this is the new place, so to speak. So as we continue down the coast, you notice that US 41 and I-75 start heading away from the coast. Normally it's just following up and down. Let me zoom out here. Up and down the coast. But here it kind of goes off a little bit. So this is where we follow 776 branches off here on South Venice and takes you into Englewood. But you can still get a nice house, an older house, and a decent price here down in Englewood for a home close to the water, close to the beach here. It's still an area. And then you end up being in some areas here that's kind of in Charlotte County. That's we do a little bit of the tip of the Charlotte County. But as we head east, you're going to run into Warm Mineral Springs, Northport, all this area right here. And as you can see, let me zoom in. Northport has a couple of commercial areas along Price Boulevard and US 41, but for the most part, these are just sprawling neighborhoods, home after home after home, with only the commercial districts along US 41 and some shops here along Price Boulevard. That may change, but once again, we follow 75 here. You've got a couple of different exits here, Toledo Blade, Sumter Boulevard, and then as we see Northport, and we've got some older homes here right along the bay into the Myakka right here. And then we end up in Port Charlotte, where we're now in Charlotte County. So that area is totally different vibe. Charlotte's a different area. Takes a while to get to some really good beaches. There is one over here, but the beaches in here, you're more of a boater than a beach person if you're down in that area. So Northport, like I said, that's going to be entry level homes. That's kind of a bedroom community to Sarasota. You can find homes, newer homes actually, in the 300s, 400s. And then from Port Charlotte, we're going to go across the Charlotte Harbor into Punta Gorda. So as you can see all this water here, you're going to have a lot of different canals, some really cool, if you're a boater, you can get into that. And you can range from the 400s to the 500s, and just depends on that. So that's along this coast. That is pretty much the Suncoast. These are the towns and areas up along the Suncoast. Let me zoom out a little bit. And that's where you're going to find your pricing. And that's why I say there's so many different variables that you definitely have to reach out and let me know what you like, because depending on price, depending on what you need, if you're a new construction person, if you're a beach person, if you just want a simple condo, what do you do in your off time? Those are the questions I always ask, because you've got high-end restaurants, you've got plenty to do downtown Sarasota, lots to do along the beaches, Bradenton, Venice. These are all different, interesting and fun areas. So we're going to continue this on the other side, and we'll tell you a little bit more, and I'm going to tell you about how you can actually get a free relocation guide. So stay tuned.
So this is why understanding the Suncoast as a region makes a difference, because the best place for you isn't just about beaches or buzzwords. It's really about price, lifestyle, and how you actually want to live day to day. And what kind of communities do you prefer? Is it city life, country, new homes, old homes? Now that you've seen the full map from Parrish all the way down to Punta Gorda, check out some of my many videos that break down these areas even into more specific neighborhoods. Or reach out directly by text, phone, or email. This way we can go over your specific needs, you can hone in and cut down on all that endless search time. This way you can confidently choose the right part of the Suncoast for you. And if you want, grab a free Sarasota area relocation guide in the box below for more quick info. For living and buying in Sarasota, I'm Rob Rovnak. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.